losers in the sport. It just makes it easier for these kids to come through. Virtue and Moyer here, and what will be their last Canadian championships. And you watch them meeting with the people backstage. You watch them encouraging the skaters on the ice. Lots of hugs and really soaking it all in. And here they're on the ice, warming up for their original dance.
Well, the short program is coming up. You know, you look at what they've done for this sport in so many ways with their club mates, Merrill Davis and Charlie White, and what they're going to do going to Sochi, and obviously looking head-to-head, a chance to reclaim an Olympic gold medal, which is the ultimate goal again. I mean, the bullseye is on their back.
No question. And what I find with these two, unlike any other skaters that I've covered in the sport of ice dance, is their appeal is international. It's universal. It's not just this huge rah-rah from fans in Canada. But you talk to the great Russian coaches, the Russian divas we call them. They love Virtue and Moyer, the Europeans, the Japanese, I mean, and so too Davis and White have a broad following. And of course you've got these wonderful teams that push each other, that can't sit back for a minute, that continually have to try new things. This is their step sequence. This is an element that they do perfectly. They've received perfect scores for it in terms of the technical requirement, the highest degree of difficulty in the way in which they do it. You can see how they weave across the ice. Every detail is intentional. Every movement in sync, in unison.
You know, we talked about Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz in that era. You know, what they did internationally, but also they helped change the face of ice dance because of what they had to go through and how judging changed through the years and how the sport, the discipline has changed. And these two were beneficiaries.
They absolutely were, have benefited, Rod, and I agree from the rule changes. When the rule changes came in after Bourne and Kratz, it forced the skaters to be well-rounded, and it forced the judges to reward not only the drama, but the footwork and the difficulty of lift. It just took a lot of the subjectivity out of it. And what I have not heard since the new rules came in is this is not a sport. Everybody does appreciate and respect the sport that ice dance is.
And in their wake, they have inspired others, like Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Pogier.
And these skaters continue to impress me, the way they handle adversity. And we saw that last year, actually, when they did not compete at the Canadian Championships. Caitlin had a nasty break in her fibula. She was, in fact, told by doctors she wouldn't even make it to Worlds. Well, they did make it to Worlds and finished fifth.
You know, those two teams, Virtue and Moyer and Weaver and Pogier, are the favorites here to go to the Sochi Games. But then that's when the fight really begins, the battle for that third dance team.
And we've got three teams going after it here, Alexandra Paul and Mitch Islam. And their original dance, I think, is one of the best in the world. It is quintessentially quick step, which is the tempo for the original dance this season. They actually train with Weaver and Pogier, and they have watched how Weaver and Pogier have been able to overcome adversity. These two have dealt with numerous injuries and setbacks.
Speaking of which, how about this? Piper Gillies, the great news, she gets her citizenship. She could compete for Canada at the Olympics. Paul Poirier, longtime competitor for Canada, basically had his ankle destroyed last May.
Yeah, 4 plates, 15 pins, 4.5 hours of surgery, missed 5 months of training. Then when they did get back on the ice in September, it was very limited. So really have only been able to get going since October. You wouldn't know it, though. You wouldn't know it to watch. And like I said, what happens is now when the competition is so close, it's a game of inches, and you don't want to put a foot wrong, which really, you know, builds up the pressure.
Like Orford and Williams, they won the bronze medal last year. Remember, Weaver and Pogier did not compete. But again, if you win the bronze medal here this year at the Nationals, there is a very good chance you are going to Sochi and the Winter Olympic Games. So there is a lot on the line here, and of course this is the farewell for Tessa